What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video dedicated to the University of Austin, Texas. Wait, that was not English. The University of Texas at Austin. If you clicked on this video, you applied for the University of Texas and you didn't get in. So welcome. A year ago, I was in your same shoes. And now I do go to the University of Texas, so I am able to tell you guys how I was able to get into UT after a year of rejection. So I will just give you a quick synopsis. In high school, I applied for the University of Texas at Austin and I had about a 3.93 in high school. However, I went to a very large school. So basically, even though I had such a high GPA, I was in just the top quarter of my class. It was like top 20%. At UT, it's only automatic acceptance, top 7% now. It used to be top 10%. I didn't have that. So after I applied, I did not get in and I got capped. And CAP is a program where they offer you to go to one of the schools in their program. You work hard, then you may or may not get in. I personally did not choose that route and I went to Texas Tech University for a year, and then after I got a 4.0, I started to apply for UT my sophomore year of college. So by the time I was done being a sophomore, I had applied to UT again. And these are the steps that I followed in order to find out that I got in as a junior. So first, you have to have 60 hours at UT in order to get a degree. If you have already completed 60 hours and you are technically a junior when you're watching this and you don't think it is feasible or a smart idea to still apply to UT, then just know maybe this isn't for you. But if it doesn't scare you that you will still need 60 hours at UT, then keep on watching. So number one, figure out if you want to go to UT for your specific major or if it's more important to you to just get into UT and to change your major. So for me, I was in the business school at Texas Tech, but I knew it was less likely for me to get into UT for business. So I thought that it would be more up my alley to change my major to advertising, which is in the communication school at UT, in order to get in rather than get rejected from McCombs. Do your research on each school within UT because some of them are easier to get in than others. You have a higher chance of getting into the communication school than you do the business school. You have a higher chance of getting into the liberal arts school than you do the communication school. Research what you're okay with changing your major to, or just see what your major falls into. After you've done that, make sure you are taking classes that can transfer to UT. There's no need on having credits that are not benefiting you in the hopes you do get into UT. So I'm not saying only take classes that don't benefit your degree at where you're currently at, just so you can get into UT. I'm saying take credits for your current major at your current school that still transfer for some credit at UT. You can do this by going to the ATE search engine, totally Googleable, but what it does is it pops up an engine where you can type in your course number, the name of your course. It will translate that into what it transfers to at UT, or if it does at all, because some classes do not transfer. Next, you need to be completely committed. When I say committed, I mean it is on the top of your motivation list every single day at your current college. For me, everything I did at Texas Tech was with the intention that I was going to UT. It seemed like a lot more work to study for 12 hours a day and to miss out on parties and a social life. It was all worth it to me because in the end, I wanted all the possibility that I was going to get into UT and not be at Tech anyway, which worked out for me. So if you set your mind to that and you work as hard as you really possibly can, you can get in. This is not a work as hard as you can, but it actually means half-ass it, because that's not going to work. This is a very competitive school to get into. The acceptance rate is very small compared to other universities, and if you want to have a degree from UT that is worth the value it is, then you have to put in the work. Whatever school you're at, whether it's community college or a university or it's state school, you need a 4.0 and should not have anything less than a 3.8. You can also see the statistics on what GPA percentages get in, and then you need to be taking 15 hours, obviously nothing less than 12 hours because then you are not a full-time college student. 15 hours shows them that you can handle a lot. Personally, I took 16 and 15 hours at Texas Tech and I thought it was a lot. I take 12 hours at UT and it feels like the same amount of coursework, if not more. So that just kind of puts in perspective to you that this college is a lot more difficult, and they want to know that you busted your butt where you are and that you can handle what they have to offer. Next, you need to be building up that extended resume. So my extended resume goes back from the freshman year of high school all the way till today, and it has every single volunteer activity, every single extracurricular, every single honors, every single award, everything documented, descripted on that resume. It needs to be as long as you possibly can make it, and I know that this is the only time that I will ever tell you to make your resume really, really long. I'm talking, sometimes I had 10 bullet points just to describe what I did as a hostess at a restaurant. Make it sound as prestige as you can. Don't overword it just for fun. But if you can make anything that you did seem a lot more difficult / honorary, then do it to your advantage. On that resume, you need to be included in as many clubs on your college campus as possible. So they do care way more about your college work than your high school history. The high school history is just kind of like a bump. I'm talking get involved in as many clubs and organizations as you can. I was a part of fashion shows, marketing competitions, and I started an intramural volleyball team. All these things just show them that I can spread my time among a lot of opportunity. I also made sure that all of these activities were relevant in some way to the major I was applying for. And that's definitely a key, as the more relatability you have to your major, the stronger your case is for them wanting you to come in. So if you are an advertising student, but you seem to have just a lot of cooking experience, it doesn't make as much sense as marketing experience or photography or things that align with said major. My next tip is to kiss all of your teachers' butts. I sit in the front row, I go to their office hours, I talk to them every single day. I am a kiss ass, and it benefits me because at the end of the semester, if I need a 0.5 bump in order to get an A for my 4.0, at least they like me, and they usually do it. On top of that, you want rec letters that are going to stand out. So you want teachers that swoon over you, and you also want really good connections, whether it be a principal or a dean or someone you used to work for. I had the head of an advertising agency that I worked for write a rec letter for me, and then I also had my communications teacher write a rec letter for me, and it matched. It aligned with my major. So rec letters are very important, and you want the max amount, which I think is 2 or 3. When they say optional, optional is not optional. Fill out every single thing on the application for the actual UT application and the Applied Texas application. You have essays, and those essays are the only way that the people reading it can see you as a person and not just a resume. So your resume will have all your collegiate and your high school experience, and it'll tell them how smart you are because you have your transcripts that have your 4.0. If you use your essays to your advantage and talk about some trauma that happened to you, if you talk about the hardships you've endured, if you talk about why you weren't a 4.0 student in high school but you are now, just give them a sob story about how you grew up poor and you weren't able to focus on school, you had to work, and so school was a high priority but it wasn't number 1, and that's why you didn't have a 4.0 in high school. Are you picking it up? Okay. Make them cry. The more you hit their emotions, the more likely they are to accept you. They don't want anything boring, and they also don't want a lot of big words that make you sound smart. They want a story, and they want a story about you that tells them that they're letting the right person in. Make sure that you apply before the deadline. It's just not worth it. They're not gonna chase after you to make sure your transcript's in. It's just not a thing, and you want time to make sure everything goes smoothly. So you want the application in early to make sure your transcripts get in, which you also need to be sending them, and you need to be calling both schools. You need to be calling your current school and you need to be calling UT until both ends of the phone are telling you that they received your transcript. No one is going to give you a green pass on that. I have a friend that applied and he well deserved to go here at UT, but he did not get in because they did not receive his transcripts in time. And like I was saying, on Apply Texas, that application, fill out every single box. Even if it's optional, fill it out. And even if you only have a couple of community service things that you can remember, then you need to go to more community service and put that on there. Next, if you want this 4.0 and you actually want to get into UT and you don't like the school that you're at right now, or it's just not your dream school like UT is, follow every single thing I just said in this. Watch my other UT videos down below. Remember, sometimes you have to sacrifice. So you might not be able to go to all the parties. You might not be able to hang with your friends every day. You might have to live in the library for 12 hours a day, and that's okay because I did it and it's so worth it. The next thing is I want you to visualize yourself at UT. How do you think you're going to feel when you're walking around campus? What are you going to do in Austin? How grateful are you going to feel when you get in? And how excited are you to start your education here? With all of those practices of visualizing yourself in those situations, you will get closer to being in said situation. I definitely use visualization and manifestation in order to get into UT. So I can also link down below my law of attraction video if that is something you care about, because it really did help me get here to my dream school and it is so worth it. I will also link down below all of my vlogs at UT so you can see inside the life of what it's like as a student here, which it is amazing, and I'm sure now you've heard that they are doing the free tuition. I will also link down below my thoughts and opinions on the free tuition if you care about that. But that is all I have for you today. If you have any tips on how to get into UT, definitely leave them down below. If you have any questions, comment them. I'm ready. Message me on Instagram at @theamandajewel and like this video if it was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. You can go on over to theamandajewel.com to check out my website, and I also just launched my new blog. So if you want to check that out, just go to the link in the description or type in theamandajewel.com and you can read through my newest blog posts.